listening to you through our podcast, Coffee Time with YB. Our guest today is Mihai. How are you, Mihai?
Hi, nice to be here. I'm from Hungary, and it's really a pleasure to be here. I'm invited by City of Asylum, and this program is really special for me. That jazz for every month is really a great one and a nice inspiration as well for me.
So, what exactly do you do?
I'm a musician in the field of mainly jazz, but I started in my childhood. Of course, I started to study classical music in music school, and then I made my degree. The first degree was a classical clarinet teacher, but also started to play folk music and jazz quite a similar time. But the first thing was to concentrate on this classical degree, and then I started to be very busy with folk bands. Mainly there is one band which called Vujicic. It's nationality music in Hungary, playing Balkan music, Serbian, Croatian, Macedonian. In my village, there are living Serbians close to Budapest, capital of Hungary. The reason is a historical thing. Why there are a lot of nationalities, minorities in Hungary. Not just Hungarians, there are Romanian, German, Gypsy, Jewish, Serbian, Croatian people. So it's really a colorful and colorful palette of culture and music, which was very important for me as a child. Because in my village, I heard a lot of interesting music, and I could see a lot of interesting dances. So that was my childhood. And later I just realized that it was quite important for my music. Not just, I studied classical, I made classical concerts. I started to play jazz, I started to play this minority music. And then when I decided to make my own groups playing jazz music, this impression and this childhood impulse was so strong that in my music I realized, oh, here is some folky things, some Hungarian folky thing, there is some Balkan thing, there is some German music, there are some Slavian. Yes, awesome. In my music, when I compose music and started to play,
so that's collective
jazz.
Yeah, that's really interesting. Yeah, as a listener, I wouldn't pick up. I'm just like listening to music and I'm like, oh, it's good guy. He's a good musician. He's a good artist. But now that you're telling me it has so many detail in it from different nationality.
Yes, different cultures. Yeah,
that's really interesting. So, how many instruments do you
play? So many. Sometimes it's difficult to count. But my main instrument was, as a child, it was clarinet. Then the saxophone became the second. Now I play more saxophone and also clarinet. One of the most important instruments for me is the tarogato, which is a special folk instrument. I have a modern version of that, and I am able to play everything on that instrument. The original tarogato was quite simple, without the keys and without so many possibilities. But now I can play on tarogato nearly everything that is. If there is no limit when I imagine something, I have my tarogato.
Yeah, there's no limit.
No, I mean, but
so
I think
you can. When you say there's no limit, you can come up with any notes. That's what.
Yes, and a limit. I mean that what. Sometimes I have a flute, a folk flute, a whistle, and I have in my imagination something, a good musical thing, and I realize, okay, that's just a simple flute. It just has whole 6 or 7 holes. Low keys, just very simple whistles, and that means a limit. But with the tarogato, there are a lot of possibilities. So my musical thinking, my vision is more colorful. Sometimes I have to stop. Okay, that's not a saxophone, just a target, but very very close to the saxophone. And for example, this evening at the workshop, I will talk about this instrument and why it's important. This instrument for me. It for me means a kind of identity, a kind of Hungarian identity, which is here I am. I am Hungarian. I would like to play with you with your music. I am very curious. What are you? I mean the other musician. Where do you come from? What do you play? I want to play something together. So that's why important. I think it's important every artist to be very clear in what is his or her roots, what's strongest things. So what was important for him. So it's an important thing. And now I'm quite old now. And no, I realize, okay, who I am. When I was 20 or 30, I thought something I am, but later, oh no. In my 30s, in 40s, I started, what is behind Broadway? Oh, this I didn't play yet. That I didn't play yet. So it's a long story.
Yeah, and you started from being a child.
Yeah,
So you got a whole life.
Yeah.
Like, that must be really interesting. Yeah, so would you say music is a language
Yes.
that everyone can understand? I think that's the point you were trying to say.
Yeah, but at the same time, you need to understand. If you have some feeling, if you sometimes you can understand with your heart.
Oh,
that's good. That's a good thing. You need to say, okay, this is this chord, this is this scale, this is this rhythm. You can feel something, and that's very positive.
Yeah. So would you advise people to start with their own music or instrument?
Yeah, I think it's never late. It's never late. But what is very important, if someone start to play music, the best thing not to stop. Sometimes they used to say, okay, I played violin or piano in my childhood, and I ask, why did you stop it? And they say, okay, I started to make sport, I have to study in the university and so on. I didn't have the time, but if you don't stop, it always means something for you. It just play sometimes very little when you go to a concert, and maybe you can jam with one of your friends, just very simple songs, just to play music. It's a really enjoyable thing.
Yeah, it seems like you're really it's part of your identity, I can tell.
Yeah.
How is Hungary? Can we talk a little bit about Hungary?
Hungary is really interesting. We have a really difficult history. Hungary was established around the 1000, so more than 1030 years ago, and that was always in the Carpathes Valley, where is Hungary, in the eastern part of Middle Europe. There's a very nice area. It's a small country now, but there was always a lot of come and going, several nationalities, and there was wars. There was Turkish occupation. There was monarchy with the Austrian, and there are a lot of good influences because of those cultural and humanity goings, and therefore I think, as Béla Bartók, the great composer, said, that's our rule. I mean, artists and musicians from this country. Our rule is to show how the several culture origins can coexist and make each other. How do you say, not poor, the opposite of poor?
Oh, rich enrich each other.
Yeah. So if you show your culture and you reflect the people and the cultures around, everyone will be richer. Yes. That's an important.
That's very true. What he says is very it's very good for even in business as an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
If you try not to fight, work together, everyone gets rich because there's always more.
That happens, and even in his age, in the first half of 20th century, there was a quite strong nationalistic direction in Hungary, and he was sometimes he had some political fight because Bartok said you have to learn Romanian and Slovakian music and you have to do this and this, and they wanted you just have to do what is Hungarian. But Bartok said, and he did really his music. That I think that's why his music is so well known on the world, because his music is very colorful.
I can see the spark in your eyes when you talk about music. But that's good. How about Hungarian
food?
Yeah, talk about food.
Yes, I in the last 7 years I am vegetarian. But the traditional Hungarian food has a lot of meat.
I gotta help you get back.
You can't do that. But anyway, there are the traditional Hungarian food. I mean the poor people in small villages. They had been eating just like once a week. They have pork or chicken or something. So the trans because they were poor. They were living in villages. They were doing it. They have greens and fruits, that was normal, and if they had animals around the house, it was for safety and some big holidays. But anyway, the taste, the groceries is very, very important. So I'm very happy now. For example, I only eat fishes. There are very good fishes in Hungary. There are a special fish soup, which is special. But anyway, I like the Hungarian kitchen, and even with my vegetarian diet, it's not diet, I just a decision, is I also, my wife is really very good in kitchen. She's perfect, so she can do everything, the traditional Hungarian foods without meat, but the same taste, the same smells and groceries. So it's very, very easy. So if anyone interested in Hungarian food, I suggest to come, because that's the real to eat Hungarian food in Hungary.
Yeah, you're making me excited. I still like they have special dances, right?
Yeah.
Dance. And it seems like there's so much history. Like you have to be there to see and look around and enjoy the atmosphere. Yeah. And it seems like, have you traveled? Like other than America, you've traveled around?
Yes, I've been several times in the US. My main, of course, more tours as musicians, the most often to making tours mostly in Europe. Sometimes in the US. I had been played in for example, Kuwait, and in Australia I had a tour with my folk band.
Australia.
So it was very interesting. Yeah, didgeridoo.
I have tried that.
Yes?
It sounds really something new.
Yes, it also meditative and it's very good for your soul.
Yeah. And you can hit somebody with it, right? It's always really good to connect with international, and it's always really good to connect with the language of the universe. I call it the language of the universe because it's music, and this is really not my place to speak. It's your place here, and you know more. But like with music, I feel like not only people from different nationality can speak. sometimes human can speak with animals too.
With animals.
With animals,
Yeah.
I think it's universal. It's something beyond only just like human language.
Yeah.
Or maybe I'm just thinking way too much.
No. It's real. I had ducks. No, don't have at the moment, but there was some interesting story. I had two of a typical Hungarian dog called Puli, which is a medium size with long hair, very nice long hair. It's deep brown or black. It's a shepherd dog originally. So they were very clever. You needed to go to dog school or something because they just learned everything, and they enjoyed the music very much. One of the dogs was when I started to practice, he started to sing, but sometimes he has to sing. Woo, woo. So it was not like it's bad for him, but it was like I would like to join you. Sometimes just listen for me. Yeah. It was interesting, and there is an interesting story that a long time ago, the first of this bully dog, I was a summer evening home alone. That was no, the family was all somewhere. The kids were little. Maybe my wife went with them to holidays or something, and it was like 9 or after 9, quite late. It just started to dark. A long day, the sun is shining till 8:30, and I was started to practice at home with just quiet things, and I didn't realize that the dog was in because the door was open, and he was under the table. I didn't realize. I started to practice, and in one moment he started to woo. I was so embarrassed. Wow! Oh, you are here! It was really, yeah. So
it's as if it's want to sing with you.
Yes. Absolutely. When first started to do this, I felt that maybe it's not good for him. Maybe it's disturb his ears or something, and that's why. Oh, but now later you are singing. Okay, let's come with me.
That's really cool. That's really interesting. So.
And I also like we have a lot of I live countryside very close to Budapest, just 20 kilometers, but it's a very nice area. A lot of birds, so I used to listen to birds. I used to read about the singing of birds, the origin, and how they communicate. So it's really interesting. So sometimes I make my music based on some bird songs.
Nature.
Oliver, there was a French composer, Oliver Messiaen, who made a lexicon of birds and singing of birds, and he composed a lot of works based on bird songs. You have to check it. Oliver Messiaen, a lot of big orchestra works, but also a lot of piano works based on. There's the connection, and there's a lexicon of birds and those kind of things. So it's fantastic. He was a genius working with that.
He must be a genius.
Yes.
That's incredible.
Yeah, incredible. And also Bela Bartok, he was listening, and also he went to the nature. He liked the nature very much, and he liked to when you to study. To study. He used to study very close for example, the leaves of the trees, the stones and all those what was the name one crystals. There, for example, he realized the structure the crystals and the structure of the leaves of the trees, there are a lot of symmetry and asymmetry, and his music also went into these details, and that's why sometimes you just feel that his work, I mean Bela Bartok's work, is very modern. He composed 100 years ago, so now it's quite old. But at that time it was very, and even now it's very modern. But at the same time, it's quite naturalistic. It's not like avant-garde or something. You feel that okay, it's modern. It's really say something today, not just 100 years ago.
Wow.
And at the same time, it's very old. But when I start to play my music in jazz, and I involved more and more folk tradition, I just now don't. I didn't do that. Okay, let's have a folk tune and play it in jazzy way or something. But my aim to have something from the very old days, maybe 2, 3, 600 years ago. I know some old Hungarian songs. Origin went go very long time, but I made it for the 21st century. So this way, I can also one of my field is stay in the 14th or something, 1040. Yeah, and it's somewhere very old times. And then my other food,
yes.
yeah, my other food is here in 2023.
Yeah, you're crossing time.
Yeah, I try.
Music
to.
is
Timeless. Yeah, I think if the music is quite deep in this way. I mean, it goes back. The roots are deep. It will be very strong in the modern days.
Oh yeah, 100%. Everything. Everything. I think it feels like things from the back are very strong, are original, and like structural.
Yeah.
So once you apply it with
it's same like in jazz music. When I first started to listen and it kept my heart. Jazz music. First was Charlie Parker. It was what's he doing? It's so deep, and the emotional thing was very hard for me. And then later, of course, John Coltrane and all those guys, the big guys. And later on, I realized, okay, yes, this music also, same like Bela Bartok, it went back to the African American culture, and like Ornette Coleman or a lot of people, it came to the 20th century and more nowadays. So this is the same symbolism to make something from the far away, from the history far back. But it's if you listen to Ornette Coleman's music, it's something. Wow, what's this? It's an avant-garde thing. But if you realize, okay, it's avant-garde, but the roots are very strong and very deep.
It must be really was meaningful for them a lot. Yeah. What are some of the proverbs in Hungary?
Some of them
Proverbs, or like the normal saying, like stuff that you teach kids in Hungarian. Proverbs, like if you, Hungarian joke. Give me a Hungarian joke.
Hungarian joke.
Yeah. Let me see if you remember.
It's always difficult to translate.
I know. That's why I asked.
But today, for example, I teach from my 20. I was 23 when I started to teach. First in music school, then conservatory and music academy. Last nearly 40 years, I teach the music academy, jazz department. And in my teaching is also it's very important that to be happy and the jokes. If you have humor, it's more easy to teach.
Oh yeah.
And more easy to get the connection to the young people, and sometimes helps him as well. I mean to understand something.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
So sometimes I try to, if I go and if I sorry,
What is it you're thinking?
okay, I just explanation. Well, if you start to talk about something, what's the right word?
If you start explaining something,
Yeah, explain. Yeah. If I start to explain something, and if I made it with humor, it's much more easy to get the connection with the students.
yeah, that's very interesting. I'm looking up here some Hungarian quote or proverb.
I need my glasses.
Yeah.
Just maybe I check it. Maybe I can.
You don't have to. You don't have. Oh, okay. Huh. I'm very sorry. I didn't mean for you to go. I didn't wish to do that. So here's number one, right?
Yes. Yes. It's a typical Hungarian.
Yeah. What are those?
The little transition, they catch them in sooner than the Olympic. Yeah, it's quite good. The translation is good.
Yeah. Can you just read it in Hungarian?
Short legs. Yes. Okay. You would like me to say it Hungarian?
Yes.
Hazug ember hamarabb utolérni, mint a sárga kutyát.
I believe it. You just say the translation for the audience too.
Yes.
Yeah. It'll be they catch the man who lies sooner than the limping dog.
Yeah. It's really typical. It's really,
Lying is bad.
Yeah.
Unless you remember. But unless you remember what you lied about, if you lie a lot, you forget, and then you become a liar.
I don't lie.
And it's still something not truth.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. We talk about the translation. Yeah.
Is there something like more like rooted in the culture, like something maybe very
Typical.
Quote, like something that I should remember, like I will remember it through you, something like that. Or something that your parents used to tell you a lot.
Imítve tudjarat. This is a good one. It's good for the teaching, and if you learn something in art.
As you sow, so shall you reap. Yeah.
So when you're on stage, if you didn't do your exercises, your practicing, and all those things, there will be problems. You have to be always prepared for anything in jazz music. That's very good.
So be ready. Show ready.
Yeah.
Show up ready.
Yeah. So sometimes, for example,